Okay, we're back on the system inside the game. This is for iPhone, by the way. This isn't for the Android version. So, um, of course, those of you who have just joined us, there's two videos before this one. So please check them out so that you know kind of what we're talking about here. It'll make a lot more sense. So let me just see where I was up to. I think the last thing that we talked about basically was we were recording how much time the player had been in the game. Sorry, my actually not the code. Sorry, develop. I think because of the recording software. There we go. So what we did before was basically I wanted to track how long the player had been in the game. So what I did was basically here I said, "Oh, check how long the player has been in the game," and then we can know how much score multiplier extra to give them. Now I've kind of gone away from that just because it could get a little bit complicated, and doesn't really need to be that complicated. What I instead decided to go with was basically do every time that the player plays the game that their score multiplier just increases a little bit. That's all it is. So what I'm going to do actually whilst we're on this scene and while we're talking about it is I'm just going to comment this out just so I know I don't need it for later. But it might be useful in a future game or it might be useful in an update, so I'm going to keep it there, but it's commented out so it doesn't actually get compiled. So, okay, so what we're doing here, this is the multiplier code JavaScript is basically, it runs whenever we enter this scene here. This is the score multiplier scene that's shown to the player when you finish a game, and it says, hey, this is your score multiplier, and you can unlock the highest grade now and on. So what I'm basically saying here at the beginning of the game, this is the one that I've just put in now, is if the score multiplier is less than 20, and 20 is the maximum number of codes that can be entered. So I'm just going to change that here so I'm not hard coding everything. So max number of codes that can be entered, and the score multiplier grade, they're both the same. They're both just they're just a number that's a maximum of 20. So that's the highest score multiplier that you can get, and it's the highest number of codes that can be entered. So what we're doing is basically we're incrementing the score multiplier grade each time that the player comes in, and we're incrementing it by 0.01. So the starting score multiplier grade is 1, and then what we're doing is adding 0.01 to that each time that the player comes into the game. So it doesn't matter how long the player spends in the game. It doesn't matter if they play for 1 second, 10 seconds, or 5 minutes. It's going to get incremented each time. It's, you know, technically players could just play the game and then die instantly and increase their score multiplier grade that way. Probably the majority of players, well, they might not get that, but if they do get that, then it probably means that they're more hardcore players, which is fine for us. I think, you know, if people sort of do learn that little trick, then great. You know, I think it's not a major problem if they do that, and they're probably devoted to the game, which is great for us. So yeah, so that's all we're doing is we're just incrementing the multiplier code, the multiplier grade each time they come into this level here, this multiplier scene. Okay. So the bottom right here is just check. And it seems to be working fine. So just give this a second. It's super slow today. Okay, so alright, so let me just click play. So the grade that I've already got is 1.24. Okay, the maximum grade is 20. So if I go to play another game, 1.24, and I'm just testing the score here. So if I die instantly, I got 4.71. Alright, and then it's increased 1.25. So it should be 4.71. 4.87. Okay, that's good. We've increased again, so 4.87 was the last score. This is going to be difficult. yeah, because you have to sort of jump into the diagonal ones, so it wasn't a true test. But I've already tested this, and it seems to work fine. And as you can see, what's happening each time is the multiplier grades going up. So 1.27, and that's working fine. 1.28, that's great. So what we're basically doing here is we're giving an incentive to the player to come back and play the game again. Which, like I say, does work well, and it works well with things like XP. It's not maybe quite as obvious here. I think it's more of a hardcore player thing, and especially as we've got this sort of like decimal 1.28 going on. But it's kind of with the theme of the game. It's like I'm always influenced by Tron, and it's kind of like a computer style game. So having decimals and 1.0 blah 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 and so on seems to work okay with this style. So that's fine. And then what we also need to do is tell the player about, hey, your score multiplier grade gets increased each time that you come into the game, or each time you play a game session. So I'm going to do that now whilst we're actually here in this scene. So I'm just going to drag this down a little, and I'm just going to copy one of the text boxes from before. So let me just Command and C, then to copy, and then Command and V, or Control C, Control V to copy on a PC. And I'm just going to make this active. And this is some code from before. Sorry, some text from before. And okay, so each time you play. So this is, I'm just naming this text so that I know what it means. So increase each time you play text, 3D text. And what we need to do is just actually enter the text for it here. So you increase your score grade, and let's put another line. Okay, move it down slightly. Each time that you play. Alright, so hopefully this will be pretty clear to everyone. So I'm just going to move that down slightly. I might just resize this a little bit. Hopefully that's not too small for people. It actually appears a lot clearer on the device, especially on an iPhone 4, because I've checked this before. And I'm just going to shift this button down a little bit. Okay, so you increase your score grade each time that you play. It's your score grade. Okay, so I think that should be pretty clear, and I'm just going to click play now just to see how it looks. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to shift this down a little bit. So the whole kind of, as you can see, the X series style is pretty minimalistic. There's not a lot of art going on here at all. It's a very particular style. It runs throughout all of the X series on iPhone and Android. It's kind of influenced from like Atari and old arcade games, Pong style games, Pong consoles back in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay, so we've got 1.3. And so the next one should be 1.31. There we go, 1.31. Okay, 3.2. So yeah, I mean the player could. What we're saying is you can upload. You can instantly unlock the highest grade here with this. This is an in-app purchase and we'll set a price for that one. And it saves you just playing through the game. But I think for players who actually like the game, and giving some players incentive is, hey, keep coming back and you're going to increase your score. And this should hopefully be compliant with iPhone's approval process as well. I don't see a major problem with this at all. Because most games, or not most games, but a lot of games have a score multiplier system. So I think that's pretty much it. The next step for me to do here is basically to update the latest game, deploy it onto the device, the iPhone or iPod, and then basically test it and then resubmit it into the through iTunes into the iPhone App Store. But you know, that's I just wanted to give everyone a quick developer diary video that I thought might be interesting, and people might want to sort of get more information about. You know, especially as it's kind of like it's something that keeps players coming back into the game. It's kind of incentivized players to play. But if there's any questions, if you guys want to know anything about how I did something here, or if you have any ideas or something, like, please comment down below and subscribe as well. We do have other sets of videos coming out as well, like I mentioned before, which is a tutorial series. We just did one on Pong in Unity, and that'll be finished in the next couple of days as well. But the first few videos are already online, so check it out. You know, and we'll also be bringing more as we go along as well. Any requests, please let us know, because you know, we want to give you what you guys want and what works best. And hopefully it's not, you know, hopefully it's useful, and hopefully you guys find what we're doing here sort of good, and you can put it into your games as well. So anyway, but thanks everyone. Check out AscendX on iPhone. It should be out in the next few days. Check it out on Android already. It should be on Amazon in the next couple of days, but it's also on slideme.org. And you know, let us know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the game.